Alright guys, Dokkan time. And today we're going to be going over the EZA how to build for Super Saiyan 4 Broly. This is kind of a request. I should have already done the how to build for him. I'm really behind on all how to builds. So make sure you guys request if you so need to, or want to know how to build a unit. So we got Zaka9891 that requested this, and I made sure to tell him I was going to get that done right away. It was only a couple hours ago, so let's get this on here. So, Super Saiyan 4 Broly's EZA, Giant 8 power, category Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense 150 after EZA. He greatly raises attack and raises defense for one turn. So, remember, this is not a stack. He doesn't stack. It looks like he stacks, but he doesn't stack. It's odd wording choice. So his greatly raised attack is just 50% for the turn, and then his raised defense is just 30% for the turn. And then he greatly lowers the defense of enemies. So he has attack and defense 150 when supering. So he doesn't have that defense before super, just remember that. He's not a slot 1 unit. Ki plus 2, and he has launched an additional attack that has 50% chance of being an additional super. But that's only if there's a Giant 8 category ally attacking at the same turn with him, specifically. And then he also has launched another additional attack when all of your allies are Giant 8 power. So he gets a free additional right here, no matter what. Like, it's a free additional. No matter what, he's super attacking 2 times in the turn, no matter what. And then he has plus an additional attack and defense plus 30 with each super attack performed. So that part definitely cannot be. You gotta pay attention to that, because it's not attack; it's every super attack specifically. So he'll start looking good once you hit that 150 marker, but that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's going to be 5 super attacks. So ideally, if this dude triple supered every single turn, or on turn, let's just run it down an idea. Turn 1, you get him. He triple supers. Turn 3, when he comes back around, he only double supers. He's fully built up at that point. So that's something to keep in mind. He has your standard Super Saiyan links, along with Saiyan Roar, Nightmare, and Brutal Beatdown. And by standard Super Saiyan, I meant Super Saiyan Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, Saiyan Warrior Race. His ideal partner is, of course, the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly. It's a little awkward to say this, but this Broly, in my opinion, is better than the Limit Breaker. The Limit Breaker is just... he's just not as good. He'll defensively be a little bit better, and I do mean a little bit. But honestly, you're more likely to have better consistency with this Broly. Maybe not defense-wise. Defense-wise, he's probably he's not going to be sitting as pretty. Give me a moment to go look for the calculations from Halvard, but I would say if you triple supered him probably every turn, then we'd be kind of like, we'd be on a cooking status, you know, if he was constantly triple supering. So Halvard has him at start of turn defense only being at 73k. So yeah, AoE is, for the 90% of the freaking unit base, AoE would kill him instantly. But post super, after, with no support or build up, 260, he gets a double, he's at 360. I mean, if he quad supered, you know, hidden potential, he would get up to 600k defense. Now, if he's fully built up, if he quad supers, he's at like 648. And then with 40% support, if he quad supered, he could get up to 900k defense. So I would say this is very inaccurate to you actually getting this. You probably will never hit this. It's very unlikely you'll ever hit the quad super status. Mostly due to the fact that this second part of his passive that has a 50% chance of launching an additional super. So depending on how much additional you have put into this guy is really going to depend on if you're going to even triple or quad. I would say on average you'll super maybe 2 to 3 times. So 2 times is guaranteed, as long as you have a full Giant 8 power team. 3, I would say 3 is pretty average, actually, just because you have the 50% chance here, and then if you go with an additional build, that will probably serve you pretty well. personally speaking, I don't see any point in putting dodge into this guy. I mean, you can put dodge in him, you know, throw your 3 dodge into there. That's a standard practice for units. You can throw in the 3 dodge. I personally feel that the 3 dodge is pointless. This dude's just either going to do an absurd amount of damage. You want to put crit into him because, I mean, it's the same thing with, like, Vegito. Like, for Vechitos, you either try to capitalize more on the additional stacking if he has it, or, you know, the Super Saiyan Blue Anniversary Vegito, he's super attacking like 5 or 6 times. You want crit on him, you know? Well, this Broly, he's doing 3 to 4 supers every turn. He's greatly raising his attack every time. You want those crits to go off, and you want to see some damage. That's what he's here for. He's here for damage. He's not here to tank. He can tank a little bit, but if a super attack hits him, it's going to hit him just as hard as any other unit. But yeah, full build-up, on average, you'll probably be around there. Alright, sorry about that. I had to step away for a second. So yeah, around 2 or 3 super attacks is probably going to be the average. I would assume you're going to hit 3 super attacks. Now, the 40% support helps out quite a bit. The odds of you having a team that will be giving him 40% support every single turn, probably unlikely. You know, some people will probably say, yeah, you're going to rock Vegito with him. Okay, but if you have Limit Breaker Vegito with the normal Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, you're going to keep them together. I mean, you could go on a thought process of you're just going to be floating off this Broly on a crossover team, and then you can take advantage of that. You know, that is also an option, but I would highly expect either to float him for random damage, but yeah. So my personal suggestion is going to be additional and crit. I probably went more with crit in my personal build. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I think I went with a more kind of, probably more crit specifically. I'll actually go take a look real super quick if I can find him. What did I give him personally? Personally, I gave him 17 crit and I gave him 20 additional. Because that's what I have him for. I have him for doing damage. That's what I want him to do. I want him to do damage. So, but obviously I focused a little bit more on the additionals because you really want him to get that quad if potentially possible. The quad would be preferred, you know, because I mean even at fully built up, if he doesn't have that support, 600k defense is just nothing, you know. He's at one of those defensive and damaging points. It's like he could, if he quad critted, he'd wipe out a very large portion of bosses in the game in just one swipe. Not all of them, not very well. But you know, if you crit and just go, I mean, he could do very well on some sweeps. So I don't blame anybody. You know, if you're a survivor, you just want to survive. I don't blame you if you just want to go with the standard practice of, you know, additional and dodge, because he's not living from it. He's not living from any additionals or anything. He does have 5 crit built into him, so I mean, if 10% chance to crit is good enough for you, then by all means, yeah, go for this. I mean, that's entirely your option. But personally, I'm going for deeps. Got to go for them deeps. DPS. I wish I had some attack calculations for him, but I do not. But like I said, that's my personal opinion on it. I don't think he defensively is good enough to really focus on dodge. If I bring him into something, it's going to be because I want him to do damage. So, anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know how you decided to build this Broly. Did you go for a more defensive option, or did you just want to see damage numbers on this guy like me? So, anyways, guys, have a good day and a good night.